Trump has declared that a formal transition can begin for Joe Biden to take office. Mr. Biden was declared the apparent winner of the US election by a key federal agency, clearing the way for the start of the transition. A federal official said the declaration was made after Mr. Trump's efforts to subvert the vote failed across battleground states, most recently Michigan. President Trump, who had refused to concede the election, said he was directing his team to cooperate on the transition, but vowed to keep up the fight. Travellers arriving in England will be able to end their quarantine period after 5 days from the 15th of December if they pay for a coronavirus test that comes back negative. The travel industry welcomed the policy announced by Transport Secretary Grant Shapps, but described it as long overdue. Under the new rules, passengers who arrive from a destination not on the government's travel corridors list will still need to enter self-isolation, but they can reduce the 14-day period by paying for a test from a private firm after 5 days at a cost of between £65 to £120. University leaders should improve awareness of white privilege to tackle racial harassment on campuses, vice-chancellors have said. A new report called Tackling Racial Harassment in Higher Education follows an inquiry by the Equality and Human Rights Commission, which found universities were failing to address tens of thousands of racist incidents every year. The report by Universities UK says that British higher education establishments perpetuate institutional racism, and vice-chancellors should undergo training to improve knowledge of racial issues. It also recommends that institutions should carry out anti-racist training with staff and students to increase their understanding of racial microaggressions, defined by Universities UK as subtle, less overt forms of racism. Almost 9 out of 10 pre-Christmas deals could be found at the same price or cheaper earlier in the year, analysis by which has shown. The consumer group tracked prices of 219 popular home and tech products over the course of a year for 6 months before Black Friday 2019 and for 6 months afterwards. Its experts tracked products from Amazon, AO.com, Argos, Currys PC World and John Lewis. They found 85% could be found cheaper or the same price in the 6 months before. And finally, the Cambridge Dictionary has revealed its word of the year for 2020, and that is quarantine, after it took on a new meaning during the coronavirus pandemic. Editors said it was the third most looked up word overall, and comes out top if you discount words that recur most years. It edged out other finalist words that included pandemic and lockdown, which were also among the most looked up between January and the end of October this year. There was a surge of searches for quarantine in the week of the 18th to the 24th of March, when restrictions started to be imposed in many countries due to COVID-19.